Depending on how the scheduling function is implemented throughout your organization, you may have the need to control how calendars are created, viewed, and edited for some or all of your users. There are several options for securing the calendars. To review the various options, let's go to the Security menu under the Configure desktop. The control points for the calendar rights are configurable per role. You can always understand what users will be impacted by your settings by selecting a role and reviewing the user assignments. The calendar settings are managed under the Desktop Security tab. When expanding scheduling, you will see several choices. The first one is the most restrictive type of access. This option permits users to view strictly their calendar, excluding them from seeing anyone else's. Read Only indicates that calendars are only viewable and that there are no adding, editing, or deleting rights allowed. If we go to the scheduling desktop in this mode, there are a couple of things to note. First, the Show All checkbox is removed since Securities now dictates that the user can only see their calendar. This allows all scheduled events for that user to be displayed by default since they have no choice to view any other calendars. Secondly, when attempting to click on a day as if going to schedule an event, there is no response since the calendar is read-only. And lastly, when double-clicking on an event, the only option the user has is to add or edit the note. All other options, such as editing the time of the event, creating a task, or opening the client record, have been restricted. The only other actions to take are to refresh the calendar to see all current events, validate the schedule to review any warning messages, or to export to a report format. The next option for the My Calendar is to have full access. My Calendar indicates that the user can still only see their individual calendars, but the full access gives them the ability to create or update their scheduled events. You will notice on the calendar the difference from the read-only access, as when you click on a day to schedule an event, you now get the Add Event window to create an event. Likewise, when double-clicking on a scheduled event, you have the full rights to edit any of the components of that event. You may still add or edit your note, and you now have the options to add a task, open the client record, and review previous notes, previous vitals, and active medications. The next option is the All Calendars Read Only. This option opens up visibility to all calendars, but is restricting any adding or editing rights. Both All Calendars options will take into account the cost center assignment and the assigned clients rules. This means that there is still some control over what calendars are visible, since cost centers and/or assigned clients are being respected. For example, if the Only Show Assigned Clients rule is checked, then even in the All Calendars mode, the user will only see the calendars that are associated with their assigned clients. That is also true for the cost center rules. If a user is restricted to certain cost centers, in order to only be able to see the client and employee information for those cost centers, then when opening up all calendars, the user is still restricted to only seeing employees and clients within their given cost centers. Unlike the My Calendar options, when all calendars are checked, Staff do see all other caregiver calendars within those given cost center and assigned client rules. This is helpful in team-delivered service environments. When going to the calendar, one of the biggest differences in the All Calendars mode is that by default, no scheduled events are displayed. The user will have to click the Show All button or use one of the filters to drill down to the calendars they wish to see. Another option may be to use the statuses to find their particular calendars. Once the events are displayed, just as in the read-only option for the My Calendar mode, no events can be added, edited, or deleted. And the only actions to be taken are to edit the note, refresh, validate the schedule to review any warning messages, or to export to a report format. And the last option is the most wide open security option, as it permits access to all calendars, of course with respect to cost center and assigned clients rules, and allows full access to add, edit, and delete all scheduled events. This is the highest level of access you could provide within the scheduling module. Just as we saw in the My Calendar full access mode, all client chart info is accessible and the ability to add, update, and delete is possible. There is one other component of scheduling securities to review. For each of your roles, you will be able to determine how the corresponding users will be able to handle warning messages when scheduled items are being validated for compliance with the authorization, the client record, and the employee record. This is managed under the Validations tab. Each point of validation is listed, and there is a tooltip that describes the purpose of each one. When hovering your mouse over each item, the tooltip will display. If you choose to enforce the validation, you are turning on the rule so that when items are scheduled, the system looks to ensure it is in compliance. If it is not enforced, the system will not check for compliance in that particular area. If you do enforce a validation, then you will want to determine if it is overridable. If it is, you are allowing the users to continue with scheduling the events at their discretion, but empowering them with the knowledge that the event will be out of compliance. If you do not allow the override, then the system will prevent the scheduled event from being entered altogether until the event is no longer out of compliance with that validation. Should you have any questions regarding the scheduling security, please submit your inquiry by going to Options, Support, and Contact Support.